arts. He became dissatisfied with the styles, patterns, and molds that traditional martial arts teaches. From Lee's perspective, the various schools of combat were too limiting and rigid. They did not adapt well to the constant changes and fluctuations of live combat. This frustration fueled him to create his own system of combat and philosophies to live by. It's called Jeet Kune Do, and it's a hybrid style that incorporated principles and techniques from many different systems. It was designed to enable practitioners to make technique decisions within the context of real combat, and that it was only in the moment with fast feedback loops that a practitioner could actually deem a technique worthy of adoption and use. In my own studies of organizations and techniques to coach them with, I found great wisdom in what Lee has created with Jeet Kune Do as a mindset for adapting to the situation in front of you. For example, at one coaching engagement, to my surprise, I entered into a client organization who was in a near state of chaos. There was a constant state of flurry and very little room to introduce even the most basic Agile concepts, let alone time to reflect on what was happening right in front of them. After assessing this situation, I decided it would make sense to use a more directive approach than most Agile coaching calls for. This was in order to create some stability and start them down a path where I could later switch to a more Socratic style of coaching. One that's more about helping people discover their own solutions rather than telling them what to do. The approach was effective here, but in another organization, one that had already carved out a better foundation for Agile to begin, or is at least in a place where it can reflect upon itself and be coached, that directive approach would have been completely inappropriate, ineffective, and probably short-sighted. My point is that different coaching approaches and techniques